Right. Good morning, guys. So, in our last session, we have discussed about CLI, right? How to configure in Windows machine and how to configure in Linux machine, and what is a disadvantage with that? So we have discussed that. So, any questions on previous session for me, guys? Did you get any chance to launch your instance by using CLI? And did you get any chance to configure this very simple, uh, you know, periodical task or repeated task? This one I've shown you, so you can take some examples and you can definitely generate some commands and you can explore that. And you can even use this in your day-to-day activities also. That website is not a blocked website, or it doesn't contain any spam, or it is not even going to contain any advertisements and all. So it's most of the environments it's not going to be blocked. So any questions on previous session for me? Any previous session, not on just yesterday's. Okay.
Oh, what is standby subnet?
Sorry.
Standby subnet, right? In the EFS session, right? So you choose the primary subnet and then you choose the standby subnet while configuring the EFS. I think while
FSX.
FSX, yes, yes.
So if any operational issue is happening, so your file system automatically moves to that standby subnet. So for EFS, we don't have that option. So by default, it's going to run either in 3 availability zones or only in 1 availability zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is this moving file system moving from the secondary, the standby subnet? What does that mean?
Whenever any operational issue happened, see, whenever AWS is facing any issue, they will notify us from this bell symbol.
Okay.
What are the open issues from AWS? What are the schedule changes? What service downtime we can expect and all. So for example, your file system is running in AP South 1A.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow at some point of time, they want to perform some upgradations or they want to do some modifications for AP South 1A.
Mm-hmm.
So it moves to standby automatically.
Okay. So they clone the data, right? When they copy to another standby subnet.
That I'm not sure. So, but
Okay.
technically, the file system delivered from that secondary availability
Yes.
zone.
Okay.
Whether they are going to clone or they are going to copy or they are going to move server from one location to another location, that basically Amazon don't disclose.
So that
Even if you try to get AWS data center location, we
okay.
cannot find that. So I'm saying we have 3 availability zones, but we really don't know where exactly those are.
And that doesn't require to remount as well, right?
Yeah, that isn't required. No DNS endpoint is not going to change. The name endpoint is not going to change. So
Okay.
when name is not changing, so you don't need to perform any reconfigurations.
Okay. But fine.
Yeah. So here in today's session, we are going to discuss about the roles. So as I mentioned, so we are 95% of the times we use roles only. Why? Because whatever the resource we have, we are going to access from our EC2 instances and we are going to deliver from outside the AWS environment. Very, very rare cases. In that case, we are going to use the temporary credentials. But within AWS environment, you have an EC2 instance and you want to access S3 resources from that EC2 instance. Without configuring any additional things, we can create a role and we can associate that role here. Okay, so now when coming to this roles option, so recommended to use roles instead of using or configuring CLI user credentials in EC2 instance, right? So let me quickly launch an EC2 instance. So I'm going to launch an EC2 instance and I'm going to take Amazon Linux 2 AMI. If you want, you can take Windows also. So T2 micro. I'm going with all the default options here. Storage 8 gigs. Tags. I'm going to give a name like a web server. Then click on next. Security group as it is a Linux. I'm selecting Linux SZ. Selected a key pair. Click on launch instance. Now in a minute, I'm going to get this EC2 instance. So then we can get connected to it. Then I want to access S3 resources from this EC2 instance. So yesterday what we did, we tried to access, it gave an error, then we did the AWS configure. So then only we are able to access that resources. But my requirement is I don't want to configure any CLI user within this machine, but I want to access AWS resources. So that is what my requirement, right? Give a minute. This is this need to create, right? So I'll get connected. I'll show you. All right, instance is up and running. So let me grab the public IP address and I'm going to get connected to this EC2 instance. So it's cmd ssh -I, then key pair space EC2 user at the rate public IP address, give yes, and we got connected here. So let me give sudo space su and clearing the screen. Now I haven't configured anything, nothing. So this is just my EC2 instance. I'm trying to list AWS space S3 space ls. It is unable to locate the credentials, so we need to run AWS configure. No, AWS EC2 describe instances. Okay, you must specify a region. All right, region AP South -1. So it is saying unable to locate the credentials. So if you navigate to this CD space tilt, right, if you give ls-a, there is no .aws folder. As we don't have the .aws folder, we are not able to get that, like, this whenever executing command, so it is not able to hit the resources over the internet. Okay, so now without configuring this, we can create a role and we can associate that role. So let's search for IAM, navigate to IAM. Okay, so now navigate to IAM. Here we have an option called roles. Okay, navigate to the roles. So these are the roles we created for different purposes. For example, for Lambda function, I create this role. For different operations, I did that. So now I'm going to create a role for our EC2 instance. So click on create role. Now, for what AWS service you are going to use this? So this role feature not only support EC2, and it is going to supported by Lambda or any other services, like, so for containers we can associate, for clusters we can associate, right? So I'm going to associate this role to my EC2 instance. If you have a EKS cluster, Elastic Kubernetes Service, EMR, Elastic Map Reduce, there also we can create a EC2 instance. So whenever I'll show you quickly, EMR stands for Elastic Map Reduce. This is a big data kind of thing, big data thing only. So whenever you're creating a cluster, see, here it will ask us, do you have any role? Do you want to modify or do you want to associate any role? We can go here, we can choose the role. See, if you want to associate a role here, so in that case, what you need to do? You need to choose EMR as a service. So where you are going to associate, that is important. In our Lambda also, while creating a Lambda function, or if you already have a Lambda function, for example, this is a Lambda function. So here under configurations, right? So we have, where is that? So we have a role. So for Lambda also we can associate role. So if I want to create and if I want to use that role within Lambda, I need to choose this Lambda option. If you select EC2, if you're trying to use it here, it won't show, right? So we faced this issue just a couple of days back. Just a couple of days back only. One application team guys, they are trying to find and all, but basically they created a role for systems manager. So they are trying to say they created a role for systems manager instead of EC2. They are trying to associate to that to EC2 instance, one of the client. So they raised a ticket and we inspected that and we simply told that, okay, you need to create a role that use case as a EC2, right? So as I want to associate, I'm going to select EC2 here. So then click on next. This is a permission screen. Click on next. Now, if you associate this role to your EC2 instance, what level of permission you are going to get from this OS level? At OS level, what permissions required? That we can choose here. Okay. And I'm going to select S3 full access. I'm selecting S3 full access. Scroll down, click on next. If you want to associate any permissions boundary, so you know permission boundary concept. If you want to associate any, you can definitely do that also. Then click on next. What is the tag you want to give? You can give the tag for what project you are using. For project text we are using. So then you can give that. Then click on review. What is the name you want to give? I'm going to call this as a S3 full access role. Then click on create role. Now one role got created here. So for what are all the services we can use this, that you can find under trust relationship. See, we can use this to associate to EC2 instance. Under use case, what are the services you are going to select? There you can select this. Okay. So if you are selecting any role for Lambda, if you go to trust relationship, see, it is showing as Lambda. Right. So this role can be associated to only Lambda. If you want to edit, if you want to use for multiple services, yeah, just go here, add service, then ec2.amazonaws.com. Now this role I can use for either Lambda or EC2, right? So that is another mechanism. Whenever you want to use same role for multiple services, instead of creating another role with different name, you can edit this trust identity. So that very less cases we are going to use that. So you can keep that aside. So now S3 full access role got created. Now I want to associate this role to my EC2 instance. So while launching instance, you can do that. After selecting this T2, and here we have an option called IAM role. Go here, S3 full access. So you can select that. S3 full access, you can go and you can select that here. Then just like, regular instance launch. You will get that access automatically. But I already launched an EC2 instance. So in that case, select your EC2 instance, actions, security, modify IAM role. Do you already have any role here? Then go and select what is the role you want to. So give S3 full access role. Sorry. Yeah, that is a role we created some time back, right? Yeah, S3 full access role. I selected that, then click on save. So now one role got associated. So if we go here, if you are trying to list the S3 bucket now, AWS space S3 space LS, there you can see, did I configure anything? Now I am under that slash root ls-a. There is no .aws directory. First thing. Second thing, we are able to access the resources without configuring any OS level things. So if you are trying to access any other services, see now I have given S3 full access for this role. So from this operating system, we can access only S3. For example, AWS space IAM space list users. See this role, S3 full access role within this EC2 instance, that is not authorized to perform. What we need to do? We need to change this or we need to associate another one. So now I want to create another role that can provide permissions on all the services. For that, navigate here, click on create role. Again, I'm going to associate this role to my EC2 instance. So selecting EC2, then click on next. I want to give administrator access. So I'm going to give that, then click on next. Then I'm going to call this as a admin role. Admin role, then click on create role. A second. Okay, so now I want to change the role of this EC2 instance. A minute back, when I'm trying to list the users, it gave an error. And same AWS space EC2 describe hyphen instances hyphen region AP South -1. So here also unauthorized operation. You are not authorized to perform this operation. Okay, so now I'm going to change this role. So navigate here, select security, modify AM role. At moment, this is a role we have. Give a quick refresh, navigate and find the new role, admin role. Selected the admin role, then click on save. I have changed the role. So now go here, try to get the users. I'm able to get the users. A minute back, I got this error, access denied. And even while describing the instance also, so I got the error. But now, see, I'm able to. If you want to see how exactly this is working, -debug. This also works for us. So, -debug. So it is trying to get all this information. It is trying to use the roles. That role is giving a temporary security tokens. With that temporary security tokens, we are able to access. This is what exactly happening in backend, right? So this is a role. So using roles is always secured compared to and easy management also. So generally, the mechanism we follow in our organization is whenever a new project is onboarding, for that project, we are going to create a role. For example, we have a project X. So project X role you can create. You can create a project X role. And now what are all the resources you want to? So some common ones is systems manager access. We provide to all the resources. Why? Because you have 100 of the EC2 instances. And for all the 100 EC2 instances, you got the patches. So you logged into each and every EC2 instance and you're going to perform this. Or you want to install an application in all 100 EC2 instances. For that also, it is a bit difficult to log into every instance and manage that. So for that, we are going to use a service called Systems Manager. For that Systems Manager, you need to create a role and you need to associate. So for every single resource, we are going to associate this. Apart from that, for example, for this project, they need S3 access. No need to go and change all these roles. For this project, you are maintaining this, right? For all the project resources if you required, you can just go here, provide the access. Okay, S3 bucket access. For example, one bucket access only. Then go and provide that one bucket access only for this role. So from this operating system, only that one bucket is accessible. So at project level, we are going to maintain these roles. Let me quickly show you that. However, in some time, 10 minutes later, I'm going to talk about the systems manager. Then you will come to know about that, right? So the common one is create role. I'm going to associate the to my EC2 instances. Click on next permissions. Now, so then SSM full access for every resource we are going to give this. If you want to provide S3 and all, yes, you can go and give that. Now give a name. I'm going to call this as a project X role. Now for all the project X resources, go and associate this. So now let's assume you have 5 EC2 instances. For all the 5 EC2 instances, log into operating system and associating that is easy, configuring that is easy, or associating role and delivering it is easy, right? So now in future you got a requirement for this project X, go here, add policies. What is a policy? If you already have a policy, you can choose that. Otherwise, create a policy. You know how to create a policy, right? In our S3 we discussed that. Okay, I need to provide access, like on S3, then pick that. So then do you want to provide all the access, or else I want to give read access or write access? I don't want to give write access. On what buckets? You can go here on all resource, or this particular bucket I want to give. So we can choose those things here, right? So that is a role option. And these roles, basically while creating a role, we have different scenarios. First one is creating a role and using within our AWS environment. Okay. The second one is we have an option called cross account role. So you have multiple AWS accounts. So you want to switch to from one AWS account to another AWS account. So in that case, you can choose this. So what exactly you need to perform, how to perform this? So you must have minimum 2 AWS accounts. Whenever you configure this, you can go here, see this role history. When I click on this, automatically I'm going to another AWS account, right? See, now I'm in different AWS account. This is what my AWS account ID. This is account 2. This is what account 2 ID. When coming to account 1, I'll show you this. So now I'm in this particular AWS account. I have service catalog user and I have different groups and all. How I switched? By using an option called role only. So I'm going to switch back to Avinash. So now I'm in my own account. This is my account ID. This is my account 1 ID. This is my account 2. So if you want to perform, you need to have minimum of 2 accounts. So now you can create a role. Click on create a role. Organization account access role. Right. So you can create a role. I'm going to choose another AWS account role. What AWS account? To what account you want to switch? You can give that account ID. Then click on next. Whenever you are switching to that AWS account, what permissions you want to get in that another AWS account, or another AWS account user switch to, what permission you can give. Okay, I want to give S3 full access for that user. The next, review. So now give a role name. So temporary role is a role name I'm giving. Create role. Now whoever want to switch to this particular AWS account, for example, as from another AWS account, I want to switch to this AWS account. So then we need to give this link to users who can switch roles in the console. So we need to give this. Whenever we are giving this, it will ask us to what account you want to. So temp role is a role we are using. Switch role. So basically we need to perform that STS configuration. Then we will switch to another AWS account. For this, I have a video. I'll share you. You just go through that video. And if you have any questions, I'll show you that. Right. So that very less cases we are going to use. Before SSO, we used to follow that mechanism, but nowadays less we are using that. Right. So that is another role option we have. And For another services like, we have another services like Cognito and OpenID. So basically you can use um, Gmail account, or you can use Facebook account, or you can use Amazon credentials to log into AWS environment. So for that, we need to create a OIDC provider, OpenID Connect provider. So we need to create a new provider. So then we can use that. We really don't use that, guys. We really don't use that. So how exactly, what is the provider name? So Amazon, and we need to create a metadata file and we need to upload. So, but just remember that service name. So it is like a, so it is just like whenever you go to any website, you will get an option, right? Log into this AWS account by using Gmail. So when you click on that, it is going to authenticate against Gmail and it will allow you to log in. I've never seen anyone use that, but if you have such type of scenario, we can use that role here, right? So SAML, SAML, secure assumption markup language, that if you want to use, if you're in your organization, if you already have SAML provider, so if you want to integrate that with AWS, we can use that. Basically these two comes under identity providers. These two comes under identity providers that we will discuss later. So I'm using an identity provider that is Amazon SSO and that use SAML. So that we will discuss later, right? So 99% of the times we are going to use roles with this first option within AWS environment only. We are going to use this, right? So any questions on these roles? No questions? All good? Okay. So then we are going to discuss about the systems manager. So when coming to the systems manager, so mainly the systems manager is used to manage resources, large set of resources from a centralized location. For example, you have an EC2 instance and you created you launched that EC2 instance from some golden AMI and all, and it is delivering. And suddenly you observed you need to perform one security patch. So basically we are going to have some patch days in our organization. If you're taking Windows, when is the patch day? So Microsoft releases patches every month on a specific day. Every month, second Tuesday, Microsoft release patches. So that's why we call this every month second Tuesday as a patch Tuesday. So patches means updates, guys. You are going to get Windows updates, right? So every month second Tuesday, Windows is going to release the updates. That updates you will get for Windows operating systems. You are going to run on AWS environment also. So now you got a critical patch and you want to update that patch to your EC2 instance. So you need to do that. So for that, are you going to log into each and every instance and are you going to do that? If you want to do that, I've shown you one environment that is almost only in one environment we have 500 EC2 instances. So out of that 200 or 300 Windows instances. So are you going to log into each and every resource and are you going to perform that? Bit difficult, right? So instead of that, what we can do, so we can use the systems manager, we can perform that either for patching or you want to install an application. Suddenly, so we are going to have some basic requirements in our devices, right? So every server need to have an antivirus. Antivirus new version got released. So you want to uninstall that existing or you want to install a new version, right? Or you want to install a new application in your EC2 instance. So in all these cases, login to each and every EC2 instance is a very, very difficult thing. But from remote location, like, from a remote service called systems manager, we can do that. How the systems manager is going to detect these EC2 instances? So these all EC2 instances must have an IAM role that gave permissions on systems manager. It must have permissions. So if you don't give that, like, for example, did I add it? Yeah, project X role I added to this EC2 instance. So that project X role already have systems manager, right? So then we can hit this EC2 instance from systems manager. So the role must be available. So let me quickly do one more thing. I'm going to launch another EC2 instance, launch instance. I'm going to take Windows Server 2016 base, T2 micro, and while launching EC2 instance itself, I'm going to give a role, project X role, that already contain systems manager permissions. Then click on next, 30 gigs, tags. What is the name tag you want to give? So this is my Windows instance. And I told you one thing. So that for every single resource, if it is an EC2 instance, we are going to give some common tags. What are the common tags, guys?
Like cost center or something.
Cost center. Yeah.
Project ID.
Any other?
Maybe region or AZ. I think that is already there. Right?
Region is not really required.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I told you this
Yeah,
multiple
project.
times. Sorry? Project. Okay. Then platform.
Was.
Platform. Have you remembered this?
Yes, yes.
Platform. If this is a Windows instance, give platform as a Windows. If it is a Linux instance, give platform as a Linux. That is the only option we are going to use to filter the instances, guys. So for example, I have, let's assume you have 100 EC2 instances here. Out of that, you don't know which one is a Windows, which one is Linux. But whenever you are giving this particular tag, whenever you are giving this platform tag, for every resource you are launching, these are the mandatory tags. Okay, give me a second. I have couple of images related to these tags. I will just show you that. I need to forward it to my email. That will definitely give some knowledge. I took pictures just to show you guys only. Right. So for example, you have a couple of instances here. You want to filter all the Windows one. Navigate here, choose a tag like, where platform is equal to Windows. See, it is showing all the Windows instances here. If you are selecting platform is equal to Linux, it shows the Linux instances. See, the name itself is a web server, but I'm picking platform and I'm going to filter with Linux. I'm selecting platform with Linux. It's not added, not added. So the platform is a Linux. Then save. So while launching instance itself, we are going to give all these tags. Right now we can find this. So if we go here, where platform is equal to, come on guys, Linux. See here, it is showing that EC2 instance. So this is a mechanism we use to filter all the Windows or Linux or what, how many EC2 instances you have used for this particular project. How many Windows instances you have, you want to see how you are going to. So selecting this instance, going to details and observing this AMI, is it a valid option? And noting down, not right. But there is a disadvantage. For example, someone don't have any idea and they have not added a tag. That instance is gone. So that's why we are clearly mentions that tagging is mandatory. We are going to mention the tagging is mandatory. So this is one of the example. Whenever we are giving server name, so this is a mechanism we follow. Simply, I'm giving web server, I'm giving Windows server. This is not the mechanism we follow, guys. Whenever you are giving the server name, you must follow the standard. First letter that represents the operating system. If it is a Windows, you must give deblem. If it is a Linux, you need to give LA. Right. So for what cloud service provider, basically we are going to have 4 unique IDs, like, that unique number and like, is it a first server, second server? These two, it varies from organization to organization. Okay. So Linux service provider is a AWS. If it is a Azure, we are going to have a different ID. Right. So unique number, so that based on like project and all, we are going to get that unique ID. Then is it a like single server 00, second server 01, third server 02? But by looking into this we are going to the first one, if it is a debl, that is for Windows. If it is a L, that is for Linux. And second one, if you're who is a service provider, if your service provider is Amazon Web Services, we gave A. If the server is from Azure, we gave M. So then unique number and identity, that basically we follow this mechanism. This is an example. So when it is going to be launched and also, for example, it is launched in so year 20 December 31st. So then we are going to give that, like that is going to converted with base 34 and all. So then we are going to give that. So we are going to use like a different application to generate that unique name and all based on client. Actually we need to give client name, then it is going to give that we need to give here. So this is a mechanism we follow, right? So simply if we don't give, and the tags is mandatory for all the resources. Without tag, we should not create any resource. Of course, we can filter. So for example, some EC2 instance is not given any platform tag. So then we can filter the resources by using resource group. Okay. So I hope you got the importance of the naming and the tag, right? So now, so I want to make this EC2 instance as a web server. Is it a web server now? No, I haven't logged into that operating system level. I haven't installed anything, right? So no. So if you go to this EC2 instance, if you go to this actions, logs and all, you can find what exactly logs you have here. You can find that whether SSH agent is running or not. You can verify from these logs if you already associated that. So sometimes when that agent got started or not. Right. So now let's navigate to systems manager. I'm navigating to systems manager. So without hitting this EC2 instance, and I'm going to perform some basic operations. And 95% of the times we are going to use only one option here in this console, that is a run command. Navigate to run command. I've navigated to run command and here I want to execute a command. So click on run command. Now, these all are the predefined commands where AWS Systems Manager supports. So you want to install an application, go and browse that application. You want to configure Windows updates, go and select this configure Windows updates. So then how do you want to update level, install updates automatically or never check for updates? Schedule, when do you want to install? You got updates, when do you want to install? On Sunday at 3 a.m. I want to install. On what are all the instances? See, here we are going to choose the tags. If you want to choose instance manually, go and select the second option. Okay, it shows how many instances you have. See, I have two EC2 instances, but it is showing only one. Why? Because the selected command supports only Windows operating system. Configure Windows updates, is it supported for Linux? Definitely not, right? So we need to go and we need to choose. Now what happened? Just scroll down and run. So what happened? Windows updates is going to happen on this EC2 instance based on the parameters we selected here. It install updates automatically on Sunday at 3 a.m. That is one option. Install application. You want to install an application like, so do you want to install? If it is already there, you can repair or you can uninstall that application also. I want to install an application. Then what is the MSI file you want to? You can get that .msi file here. So then in what are all the instances you want to? Go here, give all the Windows instances or choose instance manually or choose a group also. I'll talk about the group. So then whenever you run, automatically it's going to happen. Right. So whenever you're taking like, next screen and all, like, install Windows updates, when do you want to? So here with more options we are going to get. Do you want to install updates or do you want to just scan? Now, after Windows got updated, do you want to allow reboot? If you are giving true, it is going to happen. False, it's not going to reboot. So we are going to have a KB IDs, knowledge base IDs, article IDs. So if you're taking any Windows updates, Windows updates, uh, view your update history. So it shows what are all the updates is installed in my machine. So for every single update, we are going to have a KB ID, knowledge base ID. So for example, if you are taking this is a KB ID, KB4585211. If you are taking this is a KB ID. So for every single update, we are going to have a KB ID. So do you want to include specific KBs or exclude specific KBs? You can give that. Or you want to include only like, featured packs or developer kits or critical updates you want to give. Then you can give that here. Or severity level. You want to install all the critical updates or important updates or low level updates or moderate or unspecified. You can define that here. Whatever the updates published 30 days previous, 30 days old or days published after this particular date or this one. So we can select these. Basically, these are the optional things, but these like, so now on what are all the EC2 instances you want to? On these EC2 instances, I want to, generally we are going to give all the windows. So here we are going to give platform as a Windows. Then whenever you add what are all the instances contains this platform tag as a Windows, then it is going to execute with all these commands. So if you want to write this output to an S3 bucket, you can go and choose an S3 bucket name for the list. Enter an S3 bucket. You can just go and enter that in what S3 bucket you want to write. You can choose that. Or if you don't want to write, uncheck this. So then whenever you run, it is going to happen. So now along with that, when I'll show you some example here. For example, I want to run a shell script in my EC2 instance. So then what is the script you want to give? I want to give a script shebang bin/bash, then yum install stdpd, the same script I'm using, service stdpd start chk config stdpd on echo. I'm giving a header 1. This is my web server. Then I'm closing this and I'm going to write this to var www.html index.html. Now I'm going to execute the script on what are all the instances. I'm going to execute this script on all instances that contains platform as a Linux. Then add. See, I'm not selecting instance manually. I'm selecting a tag. Let's see what happened. Then do you want to give any comments for this and how much time you want to give to execute that script and within how many EC2 instances? For example, if you have 100 EC2 instances, 50% of the targets it picked first, then after that it is going to pick another 50% of the instance. Where do you want to write the output? I want to write the output to an S3 bucket or a CloudWatch log. What is the log group name you want to give? You can. So then click on run. So now see, automatically it picked an EC2 instance under targets. I have given a tag, but it picked an EC2 instance. So how many EC2 instances have that as a tag? Those all EC2 instances will come here. Click on the EC2 instance. It shows you that output. So this is what the output. This is what exactly happening there. And the status. Status, it shows here whether it is pending or not. So it is truncating. It's going to show only 2500 characters and final output is success. So now if we go here, select this, see, we got that. So I'm not sure why it is executed twice, but see that. So we got that script. So I haven't logged in, but I made it as a web server, right? So similarly, you have a Windows instance and you want to execute something remotely. So then you can go to run command option, run command, then pick what option you want to. So you want to execute a PowerShell script. So go here, run PowerShell script. Select that. Then scroll down. What is the PowerShell script you want to? So open PowerShell. Then the script. For example, TZ util. I want to set India standard time. So then close the PowerShell. So then it tells that whether this command got executed on how many EC2 instances. So I'm giving a tag only where platform is equal to Windows. Add. So do you want to give any other parameters or nothing? Just run this. So it picked an EC2 instance and it is going to show whether it got executed or not. So how it is going to basically within this EC2 instance, we are going to have a agent. We are going to have an SSM agent. See this Amazon SSM agent version 3.0529 is running within this EC2 instance. As this agent is running, this agent is going to install whatever the things we are passing from here. It will do there. See, it is success, right? So what is the output? So it is saying term not recognized something, but the command the command got executed and seems some issue with that, right? Okay. So similarly, you have a Windows EC2 instance. So you have a Windows EC2 instance. So you lost the password for this Windows instance. For example, I want to show you this, or I want you to try actually. Let's take it as a task. If you are facing any difficulty, I'll show you tomorrow. So for example, you have this EC2 instance and you forgot you set up a new password and you forgot the password. So as you set up a new password, key pair password is not going to work anymore. So key pair password won't work, right? Now you want to crack that. Is there any option to crack that password? So by using systems manager, we can do that. So you can just use an option called EC2 rescue tool. We have an option called EC2 rescue tool. Where exactly? Yeah. AWS support run EC2 rescue for Windows tool. So select this. Now, what is the issue you are facing in Windows? So this is my EC2 instance. So I lost the password. Reset the local admin password and store a new password. That is for reset access. Collect logs. it is going to give all the logs and it is going to store in an S3 bucket. Fix all attempts to fix an offline Windows root volume attached to current instance. So fix all you can use, or reset access, or collect logs. I want to use reset access. For what instance? So I'm going to choose instance manually. For this instance, I'm going to. So then, so do you want to write the output to an S3 bucket and all? Then click on run. So now what happened within this EC2 instance, this Windows rescue tool is going to execute and it is going to write the new password in this parameter store. Here we are going to get a password. So it shows that password. So whenever you go inside, what is the password? Here is a value. It shows that password. So then you can use this new password to get into this EC2 instance. So this is a mechanism if you want to crack a forgot key pair or delayed key pair scenarios. Right? So someone raised this question in our initial sessions itself, but I hope you got the answer now. How we can get Windows instance back if you lost your password. Right? So that is also another common thing we actually use in run command. So couple of we frequently use, guys. We means like, a different team, SCCM team is going to use this configure Windows updates and install Windows updates. There is you are going to have a dedicated team. They are going to take care about this. Okay. So if you want to perform something, you can use this install PowerShell script, install PowerShell script, install shell script. These are the two things we are going to use to install or execute something from our EC2 instance. Like, from this console to our EC2 instance. If this is for Windows, is for Linux, we commonly use this. You have CloudWatch agent, and that CloudWatch agent got a new version got released. Then we can select that, we can go and we can we can start the agent on all these EC2 instances, or we can configure that agent. So such type of options also. Update SSM agent. A new version of SSM agent got released. So periodically, for every monthly, basically we are going to have a maintenance window. In my project, every month, second Saturday. So this Saturday, we are going to have a basically we call it as on-call support. That infra team, basically we connect and we are going to look, okay, do we got any SSM update? Then we are going to run this in all our EC2 instances. So we are going to give what particular version you want to give. Otherwise, it is going to um, automatically we are going to get the latest version if you won't give anything here. So on all the instances I want to, so we are going to mention the tag. Multiple tags also we can mention. For example, you have some instances with Windows and Linux. This SSM agent applicable for, see, it applicable for Windows and Linux. In that case, what we can do? Simple. Platform, Windows, add another tag, platform, Linux. With these two tags, right? So then we can execute. So that is another, or else we can go and we can choose all the instances here. It is going to pick all the instances. Then you can just go and run this. So agent is going to update. So these are some common scenarios where we perform. So now this executed. Whenever you go to command history, it shows this here. Windows EC2 rescue tool got updated and it stores the output in the parameter store. The command completed. Now, if I go here, if I'm trying to connect to this EC2 instance, Windows R, MSTSC, this key pair, click on connect. The default name is administrator. Go to connect, RDP client, get password, browse, key pairs, given the key pair and got a password, and I'm going to give the password here, click on OK. And there you can see login failed. Why login failed? Why? Because we run EC2 rescue tool. So whatever the password we are getting, this is no longer valid. So how I need to log in then? So we are going to have an option called parameter store. We got a new password within this parameter store. So grab the instance ID 687D. This is the one. So 25th March. Yeah. Pick that. This is the password. So this password you need to use to get connected to this EC2 instance. See, whatever the reset tool given password, only that is working. Whether you have existing password or you changed or you forgot, that doesn't matter. If you are running this, you will get a new password. You need to go with the new password only. Right. So that is an option. Another option we have here. Okay, so that also comes under systems manager only. Run command. So we have another thing. So in our EC2 introduction session, I told you this. If you want to connect to the server, whenever you click on this connect, see we have three options. EC2 connect. So from here, from the console itself, you can connect. What is the default username? You can give the default username, click on connect, and another window opens within the browser, and you can start using it, right? So you can start using it. Okay, this is one option. Another one is SSH client. So you can use like putty or CLI and all that by installing OpenSSH command terminal or Git. You can use this sessions manager. So we can take a session of the EC2 instance by using sessions manager. So whenever you click on connect, automatically AWS systems manager session is going to activate. See here, to the same EC2 instance, I got connected. So I have given sudo space su. I connected to root user. So see here, who am I? You are a root user. Host name. This is what our EC2 instance. So everything you can give. So cd var www.html give ls. There you can see index.html. Right? So we have this. Okay, I have given two greater than symbols. That might be the reason we got these two. Okay. So you can even terminate the session. See, I am able to take the session from here just because of this EC2 instance have systems manager full access role. That is why I am able to take the session. I can terminate. See, this is not instance termination, session termination. Do you want to terminate the session? Terminate. The session got closed. Okay. So for Windows also, we do have this option. Whenever you click on connect, sessions manager, click on connect, but this is not a UI. This is completely CLI only. Okay. So this is completely CLI. So see here, we are under this system. And if you are giving dir, these all are the things. So you can go to, like, you can go to uh, C drive, recycle bin, boot, documents and settings. Okay, then give dir, what are the things you have? Okay, administrator is there. Then we have desktop. So now we are in the desktop of this machine. Do we have anything? So EC2 feedback website, Microsoft Windows guide. These are the things we have here on the desktop, but only command prompt works here. So GUI won't support. Okay, so that is connecting using session manager. So who is responsible here? Systems manager. So within systems manager, we have an option called session manager. Just above to this run command, navigate to session manager. Here, how many sessions we have taken? So the status is connected, connected. If you want to take a session, click on start session. To what EC2 instances? So it is showing both the instances. If you're not able to find a new EC2 instance here, verify whether you have associated appropriate role or not. So I want to take a session to this. Take this, start session. Automatically session is going to start. So here you can find session history, how many sessions we have taken and when we have taken that and all. So these are the preferences. So session is going to timed out after 20 minutes. and who taken, what taken, do you want to write that logs to CloudWatch or S3? That we can give. And what are the default profiles you want to give here? So that also. So one thing guys, this systems manager we use very frequently and you don't find this in any regular courses. So, but you must have some knowledge on the systems manager. So you can definitely expect some questions in your interview. So you have an EC2 instance, SSHD service is stopped. When SSHD service got stopped, can we take SSH into this machine? No, I want to start that service. If I want to start the service, I need to connect. But when SSHD is not running, we cannot connect. A critical scenario, right? So, but as we have this, SSH agent, so we can run the commands from the systems manager. That one question you can expect. And you want to install something to your EC2 instance and all those all things. We can, if you want to terminate, you can terminate the sessions from here also, right? So session got terminated here. So that is a systems manager option. And we have a very small option. With that, we are going to close or conclude the session. That is resource manager. So here, whenever you click on this, you can find resource manager under favorite by defaultly. Just look for resource manager. Yeah. Resource group and tag editor. Navigate to resource groups and tag editor. So here we have an option called resource groups. So for example, you have 100 Windows instance and 100 Linux instances. So you want to create a group for all Windows and you want to create a group for all Linux. Then go here, create a resource group. I'm going to create all the resources by using tags. So then what are the resources you want to? Okay, I'm going to pick all the Windows EC2 instance. So what are all the instances contain a tag called platform that contains as a Windows I want to add. So now I'm going to preview all the resources contain this tag. Click on preview group resource. So it shows how many resources have this tag. For example, similar tag you have given for S3 resource also. For S3 buckets also you have given. Then go here, add. Okay, what is a tag? So platform. So you have given Windows for any, then preview resource group. It shows all the groups. For example, for one of the bucket, I have given this. For one of the bucket, I have given platform as a Windows. So just to show you, so here, this is what it is. So it is picking all the resources. Similarly, you're using some resources for project X, S3 bucket, and you have some RDS instance, database instance, EC2 instance, and S3 bucket. I want to see what are all the resource contains a project tag. Then click on add preview group resources. See, these all the resources contains project tag, project X, or whatever it is. See, for these three, I have given project X. For this one, I have given project Java. So you can click here, you can see. Okay. So now I want to see how many Windows instance don't have a project tag. So I can select this EC2 instance. For example, your manager asked or your client sometimes they ask, hey Avinash, I just want to verify whether everyone is using tags or not. Do we have any resource that don't have any particular tag? So in that case, I want to verify. So right, I am giving this EC2. So simply give project, click on this, add preview group resources. It shows how many resources you have this project tag. Whenever you click here, what resource don't have, it shows that. So that click on add can give you group resources and we can even download that what are the resource contain tags and all that we can, but all the resources it should show both. Come on, name empty whenever you click here, it shows what resource don't have a name tag. For example, this instance don't have a name tag now. Then we can go here, preview group resources. It tells that, okay, this instance don't have any name tag. Okay, similarly, the project I did this project empty value, add preview group resource. No, did I missed anything? Preview group resources. Okay. So basically, we can filter all the resources here. So then we can see how many resources we have the particular tag, which resource don't have and all. So for example, you want to create all windows as a resource group. So then you can filter all resources by using platform, where it is like, platform is a windows, add preview group resources. It shows all the resources that contains windows tag. Then give a group name, resource group name, windows resource group. Then create a resource group. Now you have all the Windows resource group here. So in Systems Manager, if you want to install something for all Windows instance, you can just go and you can choose this. So it picks all Windows groups automatically. So resource groups are like, what are the tags? So in within this AP South -1 region. So these resources, EC2 instance, then tags, search resources. So it is going to show you all the resources. Yes, this is an option I'm looking for, but it earlier it is here only, but it got moved here. So now you can see we have two EC2 instances. Similarly, I'm filtering all EC2 resources and see here how many tags we have. So whenever you search here, what are the resources don't have tags, it will filter, it shows here. Then you can download, export all tags, only visible tag columns, right? So then, for example, you want to see all the S3 buckets. Go here, select S3 buckets, search resources. It shows all the resources available. So I have 20 resources, 20 S3 buckets here. So out of the 20, only these buckets have tags. See, remaining all buckets don't have any tags. So not tagged, not tagged. I can click on this resource. I can click on the resource and then I can go here. I can tag the resources. So periodically we are going to run this and we are going to add the tags. Find resources to tag to add the tags, right? So this is an option we are going to use if you want to filter any resources not tagged in our AWS environment. Okay, and I'll talk about the pricing by using this tag in our next session. I really don't want to extend, but for today, the task is so launch a Linux, Amazon Linux EC2 instance and make it as web server using Systems Manager. One, task two, install putty application pic.msi, install putty application in Windows EC2 instance using Systems Manager. Task 3 is like try EC2 rescue tool for Windows option. Task 4, create an index.html and upload it to S3 bucket. Now, while launching an EC2 instance, pass the user data to make it as web server and get the index.html from S3 to web server and deliver as web page. So these are the tasks for today. So create an index.html file in your local machine, upload it to an S3 bucket. While launching your EC2 instance itself, I want you to get that file and I want you to make it as a window. I want you to deliver that as a web page of our EC2 instance. I want you to perform all these things by using user data, right? So these are the tasks for today. Okay, how can we install specific patches only on EC2 instance using Systems Manager? I think I have shown that, Prasanna. Specific patches means you're going to segregate patches by using KBs only, right? What are all the KBs you want to include or exclude? That we can pick, or you want to include critical updates, that we can choose. So we have multiple options I've shown. See, under this, whenever you're running this command, see here, install Windows updates. So see here, include KBs, exclude KBs. You can filter that. Or you can choose categories also. You can choose like, critical updates or security updates or only service packs you want to install or only Microsoft related ones or feature packs or driver updates. Otherwise, severity level, you can go and install critical updates, important updates, low updates or moderate updates. You can pick that here. And you can choose maintenance windows also. So here is a patch manager. So this is going to take care about the patches, like, so if you want to patch now, you can just go here, patch now. So immediately, do you want to scan for all the patches, patch all instances? So where do you want to store these logs in an S3 bucket? So then scroll down, patch now. Everything is going to patch immediately. So that also we have, or we can create a schedule window, configure patching. So you can choose like, patch instance manually. What are all the instances you want to patch? When do you want to patch? So go and configure a maintenance window. So then within that maintenance window, you can. So go to maintenance window option, create a maintenance window. As I told, we are going to perform everything on every month, like, second Saturday and all, we are going to create a maintenance window. When do you want to perform all these things? Right. So you can pick cron job. So that, so every Sunday at this time I want to perform, or basically we are going to use cron job. So that we can get. I already covered that question, Prasanna. So any other questions before closing the session, guys?
Avinash, you have this rate control, right? In that you have chosen for concurrency 50. So at a time, all 50 instances get the patch, or one by one it will get
50% of the EC2 instances.
Okay, suppose we have 100 instances and we have chosen this 50. So at a time, all 50 gonna parallelly get the patch,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm uploading that document into our Slack channel, and with one more session, we are going to done with the EC2. We'll quickly review that. So tomorrow we are going to done with EC2, guys. So then 3 sessions for Route 50, 2 sessions for Route 53. Then we are going to start with VPC, uh, 3 to 4 sessions, database 3 sessions. We are going to done with the important modules, right? So I can say 45 to 50% of the course, 40% of 40 to 45% of the course content is completed. So please spare some time and please practice every day. So see you again tomorrow. Thank you guys.